What if I told you there is a way to almost the center of the Earth? Unfortunately, the way you are going to get there is not so pleasant. Volcanoes are gateways to the magma that flows deep under the Earth's surface, and when they reach the top, things become cataclysmic. Some of the most dangerous and influential acts of nature are eruptions, although the biggest of their kind have come and gone before humanity could record them. Now, however, we can record them and enable us to study them further. Today, we shall be looking at a few of the most powerful eruptions in recorded history that have scarred humanity for the rest of their days. 1. Anak Krakatau Volcano, located in the Sunda Straits in Indonesia, saw a massive lateral collapse on December 22, 2018, at around 2055 to 2057 local time, after a period of eruptive activity that started in June. The collapse released volcaniclastic material into the 250-meter deep crater southwest of the volcano, causing run-ups of as to 13 meters on the nearby Sumatra and Javan shores as a result of a tsunami. The tsunami killed at least 437 people, making it the deadliest tsunami generated by volcanic activity since Ritter Island's sector collapse in 1888 and Krakatau's devastating explosive eruption in 1883. This time, other than the 437 people that had lost their lives, close to 32,000 were injured, and more than 16,000 were forced to leave their homes. In addition, the volcano had formed a steep-sided cone of unstable volcanic material during the previous 90 years thanks to its rapid growth. Modeling outcomes show that between 0.2 and 0.4 kilometers cubed of volcanic debris made up the avalanche. Initial computational simulations of tsunami formation and propagation closely matched tidal gauge data from Sumatra and Java's beaches as well as eyewitness reports. 2. Due to its consistent normal Strombolian activity, which consists of low-energy explosions happening every 10 to 20 minutes from several vents situated in the crater region, Stromboli is well known as the lighthouse of the Mediterranean. At intervals of several years, lava flows accompany this ongoing activity, which is infrequently interrupted by isolated intense explosive episodes. A major explosive event known as a paroxysm struck the whole crater terrace of the Stromboli volcano in southern Italy on the afternoon of July 3, 2019, causing two pyroclastic flows to move for approximately a kilometer over the sea beyond the shore. The volcanic vegetation caught fire as the eruptive column climbed for nearly 2 kilometers above the summit and fell heavily with scoria and pumice, especially near the settlement of Ginostra in the volcano's southwest. Following the eruption on Wednesday afternoon, molten boulders were hurled out of the volcano's crater, and 2 streams of lava were seen crawling down the volcano's slopes. While mayhem broke out in the town, firefighters were putting out other fires around the island. Residents in the village of Ginostra locked themselves in their homes for safety, while tourists on the beaches of Stromboli flung themselves into the water. Despite the massive scale destruction, Mount Stromboli only claimed the life of one unfortunate tourist who was at the time hiking around the peak of the mountain to get to the summit. 3. On Sunday evening, the Sakurajima volcano, one of Japan's most active volcanoes, erupted with ash, scorching gas, and big rocks, forcing residents on the southern island to evacuate. Plumes of smoke and ash contrasted with dramatic sky, and huge rocks were flung as far south as 1.5 kilometers. On the island of Kyushu, the volcano erupted at about 8:05 p.m. local time on Sunday, causing Japan's meteorological agency to issue a level 5 notice, the highest possible alert, to nearby residential areas. The eruption was significant even when viewed historically as a whole. Volcanic ash from the 8,000-meter-high plume was carried by the winds all the way to Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula. Given that Sakurajima is located on Kyushu, the southernmost of Japan's 4 major islands, the ash would have had to traverse nearly the entire length of the Japanese archipelago to get to Russia. They claim that 3 billion tons of debris were released during the eruption, 5.6 times the mass of the whole world's population, assuming an average human mass of 70 kilos. A very significant earthquake occurred on January 12th, and another occurred the next day, which caused the eruption to become effusive and produce a huge lava flow. At first, the eruption was quite explosive, producing eruption columns and pyroclastic flows. A total of 58 persons perished as a result of the earthquake on January 12th. 4. One of Iceland's major ice caps, Eyjafjallajökull, often known by the numeronym E15, is located west of Mýrdalsjökull and north of Skogar. The volcano with a caldera that is covered by ice has a top elevation of 1,651 meters. Since the last glacial period, the volcano has erupted reasonably often. The most recent eruption occurred in 2010, and while being relatively mild for a volcanic eruption, it significantly disrupted air traffic across northern and western Europe for a week. A series of volcanic eruptions at Iceland's Eyjafjallajökull between March and June 2010 severely disrupted aviation traffic throughout Western Europe. In April 2010, there were 6 days worth of early disturbances. Localized disturbance remained during the month of May 2010, and erupting activity lasted into the month of June 2010. After 3 months of inactivity, the eruption was officially deemed to be finished in October 2010 after the glacier's snowpack did not melt. Large portions of northern Europe were coated in ash from the volcanic explosion from April 14th to April 20th. Around 20 nations restricted commercial aircraft traffic from using the airspace, which had an impact on about 10 million travelers. According to the Volcanic Explosivity Index, the eruption's second phase produced an estimated 250 million cubic meters of ejected tephra and an ash cloud that ascended to a height of around 9 kilometers, giving it a rating of 4. Despite having no fatalities, the eruption is said to have caused the worst interruption in air travel since World War II, with a loss of 3.75 billion euros globally. 5. The Philippine provinces of Zambales, Tarlac, and Pampanga are all in central Luzon on the northern island of Luzon, and Mount Pinatubo is an active stratovolcano in the Zambales Mountains. The history of its eruptions was mostly forgotten until 1991, when it demonstrated the enormous force that nature was capable of unleashing on the globe. Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines saw the second largest volcanic explosion of the 20th century on June 15, 1991. Pinatubo's eruption during the time was by far the biggest to hit a heavily populated region in the previous 100 years. It resulted in high-speed pyroclastic flow avalanches and a cloud of volcanic ash that stretched hundreds of kilometers. When Typhoon Yunya passed within 75 kilometers of the volcano during the eruption's peak activity, it posed cascading dangers, including floods and swift-moving lahars. Damage from the eruption totaled $700 million, of which $100 million was caused to 16 airplanes that were in the air at the time, $250 million was caused to property, and the remaining $300 million was caused to land, forestry, and agriculture. The majority of the more than 350 fatalities during the eruption were caused by collapsed roofs. The number of fatalities increased to 722 as a result of disease outbreaks in the evacuation camps and ongoing mudslides in the region. More than 200,000 individuals were made homeless by the incident. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you found this both entertaining and informative. Do subscribe to the channel if these are the sorts of videos you like to see, and smash that like button to help support the channel. Here is something you might not know. Lava is called lava when it reaches the top of the surface. Otherwise, when it's under the Earth's surface, it is known as magma. I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, take care.